Welcome to Friday Focus and welcome to 2021. My name is Jane Smith.
And I'm Danielle Dion.
And we're really excited and honored to be able to come live today and share 8 empowering ways to create a positive mindset so that we can start this year off strong and positive and say goodbye to 2020. Hello, 2021. And start our days off right. So excited. How are you, Danielle?
I'm excited too. This is great. I'm excited to be here. And I just also want to let everybody know to add to the comments, because these are only 8 ways that Jane and I have been brainstorming that have meant a lot to us. So there's hundreds of ways. And let's continue this conversation in the comments.
Perfect. So we'll get started. We're gonna start number 1. These are very empowering ways that have really worked for me on a personal level over the last couple of years. Danielle and I have had some amazing conversations about mental health and bringing awareness to it. And that's really what this is about. And so I hope that anyone that is listening to this, even if you take one thing, it can change your life.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to give you 8, but honestly, 1 could change your life. It has for me. So the very first one that we're going to talk about is starting fresh every day, letting go of the past and forgiving anyone that you feel has hurt you. This is super powerful. And it is a huge lesson, but it's so important. And what I have learned is that when you start your day off with unforgiveness and you're in bed and you wake up, you feel heavy. The past pulls you back. And in letting go and saying, whoever hurt me, they're doing the best they can with what they know. And you just don't take it personally. And you have to be able to say, I forgive, and I'm going to start my day fresh. And I believe you can do that every day. It's super powerful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Agree. Well, I think it's hard. That's for sure. Sleep is a struggle for so many people, and it is something that's one of the 3 core, right? Eat, exercise, and sleep. We know those help with mental health. So waking up in the morning, I think, starts with making sure you get a good sleep, and then waking up and feeling refreshed. What do you want to wear that day is just beyond your clothes, right? What do you want to take with you throughout your day? And I think that we all want to feel a little bit lighter. And so some of the things that we can let go of are the heavy stuff. We don't have to wear it. We don't always have to carry it throughout our day, everywhere we go. We can choose to start our day fresh, walk into a room fresh, and forgive. And I mean, we could do a whole year on forgiveness and recognizing how heavy that conversation is. But I think I like what you said, start fresh, let go, and forgive. So you're packaging up such a way to lighten up right away.
Yeah. And honestly, Danielle, I think some people don't realize that when they wake up, they're still living in the day before or the week before over someone that said something or did something, and they're still thinking about it. And we think between 60 and 70,000 thoughts a day on average. And they say, like, I love Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's amazing. And he says that we wake up thinking the same thoughts that we did the day before. And you have to force yourself to think new, fresh starts and be like, no, I'm not going to think about that. I'm going to change my thought and think of something excited. You need something to pull yourself forward in the day, something excited to get you up. So it's hard to do, but you have to train your mind to, to think.
And I think too, absolutely working on training your brain to think new thoughts and to recognize how your thoughts aren't facts. Our feelings are not facts, and our behavior is a reflection of our thoughts and our feelings. So it's important to check in on that. And I also want to, recognize that, those that are really struggling with mental illness, that's a struggle, right? Is not being able to shift thoughts. So there are folks that are stuck. And when they're stuck, it's a privilege to almost ask them to say, you know, just change your thoughts. So we have to be careful in how we encourage these tools too. And but yes, everybody has the potential to lift into their thinking a little bit and go, hey, is this true? Is this helpful? How do I behave according to this thought or feeling? Is, you know, and choosing, well, everybody can't choose, I guess, but just really recognizing that we all have the power to think
Yeah.
about how we think. So I guess that's where I'm going.
And it's a practice.
It is practice.
One thing I know is how hard it is, because I've been there. And when I was really in a low place, if someone had come to me and said, "Oh, you need to be positive," and I would have been like, "No," I was literally in such a dark place. I would have been like, "No," but now I can see even just a little bit of change in my mind.
Yeah.
So we'll move on to number two. And number two, and this kind of leads into that actually, is when you first wake up in the morning, is the first thing that you should think about, and this is practice, is you need to, when you open your eyes, to say thank you. Simple, simple, simple. Just say thank you that I have another day, that I'm alive, that I have so much to be grateful for. And there's the practice of gratitude that will literally change your life. I don't even know if I'd be here today without learning to practice deep gratitude. And I remember when I first started being like, okay, I need to be grateful and pull out of this darker place. I was just saying the words. Okay, I try to do this 5 things you're grateful for. I'm grateful for my husband. I'm grateful for my house. I'm grateful for my pillow. And I would just say things and move on with my day. But after every day for 3 weeks or a month, I just said all of a sudden one morning, I was like, I'm grateful for my husband. And I'm laying in bed and I slowly looked at him. And then I was like, I started to think about him. And I started to feel this intense, deep gratitude for him and the person he was. And I got emotional. I almost started to cry. And I felt this deep, and then I thought, oh, that's practice gratitude. And then I started to, it's brought into my life now, and it's literally practicing it every day. So when you wake up, you force yourself to write down 5 things, even if you can only think of something simple. It's a start.
It's so beautiful, Jane. And also imagining you waking up. I like how you tied it in with the first one, because you're explaining something where you wake up and your body felt it, right? So I wonder how this practice of gratitude is helping your systems, your immune system. You know, you wake up every day in this state of gratitude and joy and overwhelm of, you know, pleasure almost. This, when you talk about gratitude, since I've known you, you lighten. This is something that you could really, you see that has been powerful for you. And you've mentioned it a few times in the morning. So tell us more about why it's so helpful for you to practice these things in the morning.
Okay, this is interesting because when I was really working on myself and I was doing a lot of research on YouTube and listening to a lot of speakers, I came across Dr. Bruce Lipton and Dr. Joe Dispenza, but Bruce Lipton really talked about our different states that our brain is in. And I found it so interesting. And so I have so many notes on it, but there's a state called theta that your brain is in. So it's when you're in your theta, yeah. So delta is when you're in a deep sleep. And then beta is very high, where you're learning, you're in your day and you're busy. And alpha is more calm when you're kind of going to sleep. But theta is that feeling when you wake up and you're groggy, and a lot of people will go back to sleep, turn off their snooze. And I've trained myself to stay awake during that theta time, because it's the time when you can really manipulate your brain or change it. And it's almost like when you're childlike, when kids are learning and creating subconscious pathways. And so, and I realize that's why when I wake up, I cannot go back to sleep at that. I try to have 20 minutes of in that groggy and just say over and over what I'm grateful for, and do powerful affirmations. And
wow, that's really powerful. So
it's interesting.
Is a time when your brain is more plastic and moldable, and it's shaping and it's awakening. So it's fascinating to think that you found so much healing in the morning time. You mention it a lot. The morning.
Yeah, it's the most powerful time.
Yeah. Interesting.
And we can put in the comments too. We will put in the comments. I'm definitely going to put the list so no one has to write them down. We'll put this that you can print off our list. But even Dr. Joe Dispenza and Bruce Lipton, Dr. Bruce Lipton, so they've gotten powerful YouTube videos that you can watch.
Amazing.
All right, ready for number 3?
Sure.
And again, this leads into it, which is interesting. Using positive affirmations. An example is when you actually get out of bed, you've gone through that theta stage where you've actually done gratitude and you actually get up. It is so powerful. And I used to do this even when I would be crying and sad. I'd be like, today is going to be a great day. And you just say it, you declare it. And that it can be an affirmation that works with you. It might be something else like, I am healthy if you're trying to heal your body, or I am important. Whatever you need to say, you say it. And I write it, this is very powerful, a dry erase marker. I write it on my bathroom mirror. Or today is going to be a great day. I have on my bathroom mirror. But I've written different things over the years.
I know.
My husband, the pilot, he used to come home from work and he'd walk into the bathroom and he'd be like, oh, it says, I am important. Whatever you need to reinforce,
Yeah.
it's super powerful. Do you use affirmations?
I was just saying, I actually do the opposite. So I've been really focused on labels and the labels I give myself. So it's also positive ones. So I have a chalkboard where I put, I am not a label. And I've got broken, traumatized, hurt, beautiful, lovable, like all the labels, good and bad. And because they're so fixed, and I've been really struggling with, how do I judge myself? And so it's kind of the opposite that I've been doing, but I'll take a photo of it maybe, and I'll share it in the comments, my chalkboard of things I notice that words that come up to describe me. And I kind of go like, how is it helping me? So it's different, but I love where you're going, where you're like, I am. It's almost like a warrior that I see in you. Like, I am. Dent. You're putting your stake in. Like, this is it. So I agree. Affirmations are helpful. And I've just never really caught on to that much, that self-talk. So it's definitely something I'll look into this year.
Honestly, it is.
Yeah.
It's, for me, has been so powerful because our brains tend to, like, I agree with the labels. You don't want to label yourself. Yeah. I used to work with children with special needs, and it was like, no labels. Like, this is a perfect child. They're not, people label them.
People first. Yes.
Yeah. And
in my line of work, it's the same thing, right? So, autistic child, ADHD child, or my ADHD, my anxiety. Like, that's really a big, and that's another whole other show.
Yeah, it is. Well, and I was telling Danielle, because I had to really heal myself over it's been a journey for me. And I wrote down, if I was ever feeling sad, or if your mind goes to more negative or things that aren't good for you, you literally push those thoughts out. You say, no, I am important. I am enough. I am grateful. I am compassionate. I am joyful. I am kind. Whatever you want, you put it in there. And so I make this, it's very simple, but I was going to make one for my
love this.
It's basically really loud. I read it.
Oh, see? Aww.
So it's something you can do that's really simple, and you can do it for if you have even teenagers that struggle, that need something that's just quick, and just read it before they go to bed or read it in the mornings, right?
Sing songs, have fun. I am lovable.
You put those thoughts in so they become a habit.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Next, it's funny how these are actually flowing. I didn't think this would happen. Number 4 is take responsibility for something and shift a habit. We are definitely going to do a live. One of the Friday focuses on habits, because I believe habits create your life, and what you do every day over a long period of time will completely change your life. It's not what you do for a week straight. What do you do every day? What habit have you formed, like how you think, that will change your life?
So important, Jane, so important, right? Good habits and bad habits. It's just our behavior, right? What we do over time, repeatedly. Taking responsibility, I think, is super important. I think if there's one of these on here that I really want to do more of in 2021, it's this one. Take responsibility to ask for help. Take responsibility to accept when I ask for help that people might not be able to say yes, and that's okay. Like, take responsibility for the fact that I'm in relationships with people and I don't have to, agree, and that I can still accept. Also, take responsibility for my reactions and how I react to my own pain or my own trauma, and how, I need to take responsibility for my own healing and how that impacts other people. And I think too is it's really important that we recognize that we take responsibility for not just relying on systems to help us. That, you're a great example that it's not just that we need to look outside. There's not, it's not always about this system or the government. There is ourselves. We can empower ourselves, and we can take responsibility for ourselves, our family, and our close community. And we can always do better.
Yeah.
In that area. So we can get stuck on thinking that we don't have enough support, and that's true. Oftentimes in mental health, there is very little, but we can still take responsibility for what we can do.
Yeah,
and I think that that's so important, because imagine if we all just did that, right?
Yeah.
And change our habits, because our habits are formed because of our pain, often our bad ones and our good ones. So it's take responsibility. And you came up with a quote when we were doing this, and I just want you to share that because it was so wonderful. Something your mom said, and it was about asking.
Oh, that's actually in the next one that my mom said.
Oh,
To have a hard conversation.
Okay. Well, taking responsibility.
This one,
oh, make a request. I joined them.
Yeah.
Them. So that's okay. So we got take
That's okay. Yeah, but this one,
yeah.
We were talking about, if you can, a lot of us have bad habits, and if your brain can create a bad habit, it can also create a good habit, because we're habit forming people. That's our brains are habit forming. So if you know that you create a bad habit, you can switch that and create a good habit. You can. And so it's super powerful, super important. And the other thing is, there's a quote that I like. It's not the one my mom said, but the quote is, for things to change, you have to change. For things to get better, you have to get better. Have you heard that one?
That's good.
It's so powerful. And when I first heard that quote, and I was having trouble just in just family relationships and things, and I kept thinking everyone else had to change. And I was almost mad at that quote, because I'm like, I'm a good person. I'm nice. I'm a nice person. I don't have to change. And then it hit me one day. I was like, oh, I have to change in the way of getting stronger. I have to heal my brain from things that happened when I was young that aren't who I am. That's how I had to change. And then when you realize that, you're like, oh, you don't change your personality. You change who you are, and you're creating healthy new habits and saying the positive affirmations and changing your brain. It's healing.
So healing. And it sounds like too, you're changing your expectations on yourself and those around you. As you heal, your expectations heal.
Yeah, super powerful. So, okay, the next one, we should combine them a bit, but this is
I think I did.
Really good. Sorry. It's number 5 is make a request and have a hard conversation. I love this.
Yeah, so I did. I joined it, asking for help. And this is big, right, Jane? Like, communication is such a large part of our wellness. How we communicate, how we ask for help, how we make requests. What does our body look like when we do that? What does our tone look like? How afraid are we? What is our expectation with that answer? All of this goes in our mind, and it can tend to, make us small and fearful. And then we hold it in and we fester, right? Oh, he didn't help me with the dishes, or they're not doing this, or they're not. And all of a sudden we're in the blame brain, the shame brain, and we're sinking all alone. We're not together. And so have courage, make a request, ask for what you need, sit down face to face and have these conversations. Not, well, the dishes need to be done. Later.
Yeah.
Let's sit down. Let's talk about this thing. This is what's going on. I need to make a request. How do I make a request even? Let's talk about that in a way that feels safe for you. Let's talk about how you receive a request, how I ask for that, so that we can do this thing better. Communication is such a big part of how well we are and our mental health. So we carry patterns with us, toxic patterns on how we communicate and have conflict. So it's really important that we look into 2021, and especially the way society is right now, and look at how we communicate with each other, and do that in a way that we're sitting down face to face, eye to eye, heart to heart. And I think this is a really big part of healing.
Yeah, I do too. And it's like when you have that fear, if you want to have a hard conversation with someone, it can be something small that is really affecting you.
Right.
But it's knowing that when you have a hard conversation, it's okay what they respond, like what they say. And letting people be and do and say whatever they want, and it's just how you react that causes the problem. And if your shoulders are back and you're strong, then you know it's okay. So, but the thing my mom said was that years ago, my husband and I have been married 34 years, but when the kids were little and that, I was struggling a bit in my marriage in the way I felt lonely. And my mom said to me, I said, my husband never hugs me and blah, blah, blah. And my mom said, you need to ask for a hug. And I was like, he should know. My mom said to me, I'll never forget it, a hug is no less a hug because you asked for one. And I thought there was a shift in my mindset. That's one thing that I remembered my whole life. And I thought, oh, so I started asking my husband, I need a hug. And men are fixers. And he would be like, oh, come here. And I would go into his arms and hug. And I would just ask. And it changed our marriage. It's so simple.
Your mom's brilliant and wise. A hug is no less a hug because
you asked for it. Right? Okay, so I guess we should move on to number 6 is practice mindfulness. This is interesting. Practice mindfulness and meditation. And I look at this as I was really not against, but I didn't know anything about meditation, and I don't know if I believed in it, and I didn't feel like I had the time for it, and I didn't understand it. But since practicing deep gratitude, I was kind of led to it because I wanted to actually find a spot where I could sit and be grateful and where I was quiet. But I was almost embarrassed if my husband walked in and I was meditating, I would almost be like, oh, oops.
It is one of those things, right? Where it's like, oh, meditation. It's out there that some people do. It's super woo and all of those things. But there's so much power in right now.
In the present moment.
Practice how we think. And it is an opportunity in meditation to just recognize that their thoughts are coming and you can make them go. And so meditation isn't about just as much about emptying the brain, but it's about practicing watching thoughts pass by and recognizing that your thoughts don't have to stick to you. And so practicing the art of thinking and recognizing thought and being right now in the moment. That's, if there's anything with meditation, I struggled with meditation because of PTSD so chronically. When I think about sitting still, I almost just panic. And so really struggled with meditation. But what I found really helpful is just to sit in the moment and recognize all the ways that we do meditate. So just right now, what do I taste? What do I smell? What can I hear? What can I touch? What am I feeling? And just right now.
And that's mindfulness, being mindful.
Yeah. I can meditate when I get a really good ambrosia apple. I'm like, this is good. I'm just going to sit down right now and I'm going to enjoy this apple. Or when I pet dogs and puppies, there's nothing that brings me into the moment more than, puppies. So I think that meditation, people have to recognize that it's not just sitting in, some guru hall with a beautiful pillow and, some great, chants. That would be ultimately great too, but we can meditate over things we love every day. You do art, maybe you cook, but when you're focused in the moment right now, that is so powerful in letting your brain just be
It
and
is.
letting things be okay. Your body rests. And I
Yeah,
think we need lots of rest.
we do. And it is a practice. All of this is a practice. And
Mm.
so it's interesting because I practice mindfulness is when I shower in the morning. I shower every morning. And it's actually quite hard. I used to let my mind wander. I'd worry about all the stuff, be mad at someone from before, and I was always ahead of myself, worried about the day or what's happening, or dwelling on the past.
So
Now in the
ahead
shower,
is
yeah,
the anxiety, worried about what's going to happen, and
yeah.
the depression is the
And
past, right? I mean, that's a
that's
tear up
stressful.
in our wellness, if anything.
Yeah, so practicing the shower is actually really hard. So you realize how much your mind wanders. So it's like being grateful for the hot water. So it brings you right in the present moment. Getting in the shower, saying thank you, like for this new day to start fresh, and smelling the shampoo, and looking with your eyes and being, oh, you can see all the droplets of water. But then I'll find my mind wanders, and I have to bring it back. And I'm getting better and better. I would say 80% of the time I can be mindful in the shower.
That's
Whereas
amazing.
before it was like I didn't remember the shower. I was so mad at something.
You know, my daughter actually said to me yesterday something, and I was so powerful. You know, I just sat and listened to her explain how she's becoming grateful about doing the dishes. And she's like, you know, it's been so cool for me because I recognize that I have this plate and I put food on it and it's hot. And then afterwards, we can do dishes, and I actually have a scrubby and hot water and
Being
soap.
grateful.
And so just to be mindful of
Yeah.
that, during the mundane. And she talked about a quote from the Dalai Lama, and I'm sitting here thinking, like, I'm grateful. Like, I'm just like, okay, child.
Yeah.
Wow. Yes, you have a scrubby.
Super powerful. And the only thing I want to say before we moved on, we have two left for that, is there's something that I think is really important, and I had shared it with you. And if you can think of life like an ocean, and that when it's really rough and the waves of the ocean are rough and stormy, that can be like our minds and our thoughts when we're going through something. We're going through a lot.
Yeah.
And as you go down in the ocean, it gets calmer and calmer, and the waves get stiller. And way deep down in the ocean's complete stillness always. It's always still. And meditation and mindfulness is that idea that when we're going through a lot, there's always a stillness inside of us that's calming, and you just want to tap into that. That's kind of the key. But we can do another live on that another day. Number 7 is you become who you spend the most time with. So surround yourself with amazing people that believe anything is possible. And you need to look at who you spend time with. What 5 people are you surrounding yourself with? Are they positive? Are they negative? Do they lift you up? Do they bring you down? It will change your life. And it's not that you have to completely let go of a friend that might be negative, but you can bring more positive people into your life. And that includes, like for me, I listen to Wayne Dyer every day. And Wayne Dyer is an incredible motivational life coach, speaker, and he's passed away now. But I listen to him every day on YouTube, and I consider him one of the people that I spend time with because my brain listens to him all the time.
It's amazing, and such an important piece, right? I know there's a quote out there, something like, maybe you're not depressed, maybe you're just surrounded by assholes. So I think it's mindless swearing, but it's important to recognize, like, maybe who you are being influenced by, we don't recognize it. We think we're in our own shell, but it's permeable, and we are affected by the words that pass through us. And we, again, need to take responsibility for the spaces that we put ourselves in, and have the courage to have conversations and put boundaries down, and to say, you know what, actually, this is affecting me. And it's hard for me to think in a way that's going to bring me wellness in this space, or being with this person too much. So it's not, I think I like what you said. It doesn't have to be complete all out, but recognize that, surround yourself with amazing people.
Yeah. And if you realize when you write down, like they say, write down the 5 people, like take a minute and write down, who do I spend the most time with? And if you need to listen to positive podcasts and go on YouTube and search positive people from Marisa Peer to Dr. Joe Dispenza, Wayne Dyer. There's so many, and listen to positive. So it doesn't, if you can't find someone positive in your life, then find it on YouTube or.
Well, I would challenge that. I'd say you're better off alone sometimes too, right? Like like some of us, like some people have it rough, Jane.
Right.
And there is, it takes courage to step outside of those toxic cycles and be alone and to start finding your people. And so it is important, to fill that up with people in your your podcast, but also reach out. There is love out there, and there are places that want to make you glow and encourage you. And everybody deserves to be in a space where they feel loved. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. And there are so many people struggling, especially right now. It hasn't been an easy time. So the last one, number 8, is become very aware of how you think and feel. How you think creates how you feel. How you feel creates how you act, and how you act creates your life. But it is not easy to become aware of how you think, but it's super powerful, and it is a practice. So
And
you can start with how you feel. If you're feeling sad, you can be like, what am I thinking about? Or if you're feeling joyful, what am I thinking about? It's all
I love where
our
you're going.
thoughts.
This is all about looking at how cognitive we are about our behavior, right? Looking at how the connection between thoughts, feelings, and behavior. And, this is really the basis of cognitive behavior therapy, right? That CBT, which is super popular and effective for many
Mhm.
people. If you have a good therapist that is willing to walk you through that triangle of accountability, I think it's so incredible. But for what I've heard with you is you've walked through this, you've created manuals and journals and really looked at how you think, how you feel, and how you behave. And it's changed your life. And
Yeah.
for me as well, like being aware of my thinking has helped so much. And it also, recognize, it makes me see how I feel. Like, oh yeah, I'm thinking this over and over again. No wonder I'm feeling this way, or no wonder I'm feeling this way. This is going well, and how is my behavior a reflection of my thoughts and feelings? Is it helpful? What is the impact I have on others because of that? And myself, is it helpful or harming me? Our thoughts and our feelings are not facts. And that is the truth. Our behavior is. And that's where we have the most control to really practice change and build new habits. So,
Yeah. It's so important, and it's so powerful. But like I said, it's not easy. But once, I remember listening to Tony Robbins years ago, 4 years ago. I think he was the first person I listened to when I started personal growth. And he said, you can change your mind, you can change your state in an instant. I was like, I didn't understand that at all, Danielle. I was like, what? No, this person hurt me. I am devastated. Whatever they said, I am like devastated, crying, upset. I can't just become happy. But I have learned to change my state in an instant. I'm like, whoa. And what I've learned is, it's like, I used to be in the shower, upset about something. And uh, I started to become aware because of listening to different people and understanding, oh, wait, why am I thinking this? I'm in the shower. It's peaceful and beautiful. I have so much. Why am I wasting this thought and feeling so sad? And then I'd be like, no, stop it. And I push the thought out, and I bring in, I'm like, what makes me happy? And I would think, oh, my granddaughter, my grandson, they bring me joy. And I'd start to imagine, oh, when I was playing with them, and the laugh and the running, and I'd start to feel happy. And I was like, whoa, I did it. I changed my state. I'll do it. And I thought, I'll worry about that other thing later. So I've been able to be like, I'll worry about that when I actually talk to the person, so it's
I
something you
love
can't
this. I'm hearing you talk about, like, how can I bring more joy? What joy? Feelings of joy are incredibly powerful. That might be number 9, because I've been really, really keen on the idea of how do I make more joy in my life. And when I feel joy, it is like an instant, like, right?
yeah.
How do I do this in a healthy way? So
We'll do
powerful.
that on one of our Friday folks, but we should probably sign off. And honestly, super grateful for anyone who's joined. And if you've watched all the way to the end, we appreciate you. Share the video, add your comments, and we are going to come live every Friday to bring awareness to mental health. We have a lot of different topics coming up we're excited about, and we're going to bring guests on too.
I'm so
So
excited about next week. Stats and facts. So you and I are going to shoot off some facts and stats, see what we can dig up on mental health. And I'm also grateful for you, Jane, and Peace 360.
I am so grateful for you too, and I met you, and I will always love year 2020 for many reasons, because it was a tough year, but it was a year that we were pushed to go inward, to find a strength I think we didn't know we had, and to appreciate things that we took for granted before. And I would not have started the Compassion Project. I would have not have met you, who led me to Chris Rajal. Thank you, Chris Rajal, for starting Peace 360 Initiative. Totally grateful for you. And I think we're going to have an incredible year. Really hope that anyone watching found even one thing that you can implement in your life that'll change your day and in turn change your year. And we can have an amazing 2021. Super grateful.
Me too.
Okay, bye. Thanks for watching.